Hi class. I'm going to go over assignment 6.5, Tiny Home Design. So this video isn't going to be a comprehensive demo, but I will go over this assignment in detail and show you an example. So for this assignment, you will design a functional and efficient tiny home within a 400 square foot limit. You're going to incorporate essential living spaces such as a kitchen, bathroom, sleeping area, and living area. And using AutoCAD, you will draft a detailed floor plan, front and side elevations, and a section view. Your submission will include the PDF of your drawings with the dimensions and annotations, and a one-page explanation explaining your design choices. So keep in mind the complexity of your design because you will create the exterior of this tiny home in Revit for a later assignment. And for that assignment, it's going to be very forgiving because it doesn't have to be exact to your tiny home. But do keep that in mind as you go through this. And so for the design requirements, the size must be no larger than 400 square feet. You need to include a living area, kitchen, sleeping area, and a bathroom. In general, for space efficiency, you want to use smart layouts or multi-purpose furniture. And feel free to start with the architectural template, and you can make your exterior walls 6 inches thick and your interior walls 4 inches thick. So this isn't a requirement, merely a suggestion. As you go through looking at tiny homes, maybe doing a little bit of background research on how you want to design yours, you may find that you want to divert from this, and that's completely fine. And so for the AutoCAD drafting, you want to create the floor plan with the layout and you want to dimension it, just like we did for the floor plan for the assignment 6.1. And you're also going to show the room and furniture placement. And then you're going to create some exterior elevation views. You're going to create one for the front and one of the sides. And you also want to create a section view. And you get to choose whatever section you would like for the section view. And in the end, you want to combine your PDF AutoCAD drawings with the one-page explanation. And be sure to include your name, the class, and the assignment number at the top of your paper. And if you have any sustainability features in your tiny home, you could and should explain that in your paper as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over an example. So here I have AutoCAD open. Um, Let me open really quickly the architectural template. So here, this is the same one we used for the other assignments. There's some layers in here. There's some blocks. And because you guys used the same template and created some other blocks as well, you can go to those assignments, open them up, paste those blocks in here, and then you'll have even more blocks to choose from. So for example, you'll have your door block, your window block that you've used, and so you can use those in this assignment as well, so you don't have to recreate them. I do want to, here, actually, I'll go back over here, and I'll just go over these sheets briefly. So here I have the lower level and the upper level. Because I have two levels, I have 2 pages for my floor plan. So you might have only one level, and in that case, you'd only have one page. Depends on your design. Here's the front elevation for my exterior view. And down here, I have the right elevation. And then here I have my interior elevation or the section view. Okay, and so this block is one of the ones from the template file. It's right over here. It says Elevation Imperial. And I'm just going to kind of show you this block really quick. So here I just pasted this in here. This block is annotative. So I can adjust the size of this depending on my sheet of paper by using the annotative scale over here. So for example, if my paper is going to be 3/16 inches to a 1 foot scale, I can select that one and then that would make it bigger. And I can easily adjust this because it's also a dynamic block. So I can grab this arrow and I can adjust the length. I can rotate it using this dot right here, and I can also flip the arrows to point the other direction if I want to. Okay, and oops, here we go. I'll just go back here. And so right here, for example, my scale is 3/8 inches is equal to 1 foot. And so that's what I have here for my annotated block. 3/8 inches is equal to 1 foot. And the section is AA, and this can be found on sheet 5. So when I printed it, I put it on to the 5th sheet, and so that's what that means. So this is going to be the section and the page number below it. All right, and so you're going to get some blocks from, you can use the internet, you can search them up on Google, you can type in, for example, if you want to find a range, you would type in AutoCAD block, range, and then pick one that you would like. You can also do the same for dining room sets or bathroom things, couches, etc. And so feel free to just search up some blocks on Google, or you can create your own blocks, and you can also use the Design Center, similar to how we did for the landscape drawings for the landscape design project. And I believe when you first open up Design Center, it goes here. So that would be under this PC, Windows, Program Files, Autodesk, AutoCAD 2024. And then Sample, ENUS. And then here I want to choose Design Center. And then I have a couple of options. So I can look at the Home Space Planner, House Designer, Kitchens. You can look at landscaping. So feel free to go through this and see if there's any blocks that you want to grab. You could go back, go to House Designer. I could look at these ones. Etc. And then another way I can also go back here and I could go to Floor and Space Plan and open up that assignment. So like I mentioned, you can, let me close this. I can simply grab this block, I could copy it, and I could paste it into my drawing. So that way, oops, let me go back here. So maybe I want to grab this one and I want to grab my dynamic window because I don't want to recreate these. And I can paste them into here. So now I have these two blocks as an option. Another way I could have done it is I could have gone to Design Center and I can go to Open Drawings and I can go to Assignment 6.1, go to Blocks, and I can grab from here by double clicking it, saying OK, and now here it is. I can also just grab it and drag it over as well. Grab it and drag it. So you can borrow from previous assignments or you can search things up or create your own blocks, of course. Okay, and so I want you to dimension this in the architectural cell. So, or I should say in the way that we did for assignment 6.1, where we first dimensioned the overall building and then dimensioned to the interior walls and then dimensioned to the windows, the center of the windows, and the doors. And there's also some annotations included in here. I mentioned the size of the walls. There's the size of the windows and the doors and the living space that I'm looking at. All right, and some more annotations here. I created these stair blocks, and so that's why there's one for up, one for down. And also mentioning and creating annotations for anything that I feel is important to the design of my building. So, for example, these are just standard height cabinets, but I do mention that they're shaker cabinets and that there's a range here, and then I have the over the range microwave above it to save on some space. Stacked washer and dryer, and there's dimensions for these windows because these are a height that I feel is important. If you feel like the bottom of the window is important, then you can include that as instead. Or you don't have to, if you feel like the window can be a little bit more flexible, you don't necessarily need to include the height here. So include any notes for and dimensions that you feel is important for your design. I'm gonna put this over here. Okay. And yeah, and so the right side elevation. And so each of these have their own layout tab. And they are printed using batch plot. And so once they're printed, I can see that here. So I have my section AA and I made that on page 5. And that's why it's a 5 right here. And included in this, so I have my drawings here, and then included in this, I also have my explanation. All right, and so I have my class, the department as well, my name, the date, and then the title of the assignment right here. All right, and so this goes to explain my design choices for the tiny home. So I'm saying this paper provides an overview of a thoughtfully designed tiny home that maximizes functionality, comfort, and aesthetics within a compact 392 square foot footprint. The home includes a main living area, kitchen, bathroom, and a lofted sleeping space. Its layout and features are intentionally crafted to meet modern needs while maintaining a minimalist and efficient lifestyle. The tiny home has a simple rectangular layout capped with a shed-style roof. This roof design not only offers a clean, modern aesthetic, but also allows for greater headroom and effective water drainage, and so on and so forth. So I'm here explaining my design choices, and this is going to help me understand exactly what drove you to create your design. And so when you're going through this assignment, it does help to look up the actual size of appliances and like the queen bed, for example, and use that in your tiny home. So I looked up the actual size of the range that I want to find. So I just kind of Google searched what's available out there, and I found one that was more compact to fit in a tiny home. And same with this is the actual size of a stacked washer and dryer, and then I just created this block here. Okay, and so feel free to have fun with this assignment. Um, Create the design to your own liking and to your own personal style and just put your own touch on it. This should be fun. It's going to be, a little bit involved because you do have all these different views, but it'll be a great learning experience. And because it is your own design, it could be as detailed as you want. You do have to include all the different areas. Um, and so, yeah. Oh, and one more thing. So, an easy way to check the square footage of your tiny home would be to use the area command. So I'm going to simply type in area, and my command line says specify first corner point. And so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to select this corner point here, 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 and I'm going to select the one that I started with here, and then I'm going to press enter. And if I drag this command line up, I can see that this is 287.5 square feet. And then I could do that again for the loft area. And enter. And then the top is 104.2 square feet. And so I would add those up and make sure that the total is under 400 square feet, which it is. And so that's a very simple way to check your square footage using AutoCAD. Okay, so have fun with this assignment, and I look forward to seeing your guys' designs. Thank you.